Welcome to the VIP Lounge at the Kitten Club. You are now on the guest list for the VIP Lounge at the Kitten Club.
In the VIP Lounge today with yours truly, the talented, gorgeous SuCh. How are you, my dear?
Aw, thank you so much. I'm great. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Born in Boston, raised in New York, educated in California, from a very spiritual background, who were your main musical influences?
Ooh, I think I have a lot. Well, when it comes to, I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor, so I listened to a lot of gospel music growing up. I have two older sisters, so 90s R&B was huge for me because that's what I remember. That's what they listened to, when I was like 8 or 9, so I was really, really into it. Of course, I'm Haitian American, so my parents immigrated from Haiti, so I listened to a lot of compa, which is Haitian music. And I would say, as far as my sound, it's soulful, so I love Jill Scott, love Aretha Franklin, of course, love soulful voices. I mean, it can really go on and on. Erykah Badu, Maxwell. It's like everybody. And then when I was 12, we moved from New York to Massachusetts. I lived in a small town where I didn't listen to as much urban music, and that's when I was introduced to like classic rock and alternative. And so that also, I think, plays into my sound. And so, yeah.
That sounds quite interesting, quite full. So when did you realise your gift as a singer?
Well, as far as singing is something that I've always done, like my whole life. If there's anything that I've done consistently since about the age of 3, it's sing. I started singing in like the children's choir at church. And then once, I got into school, in elementary school, I was always in choirs. I started playing the flute when I was about 7. And so, yeah, I played that up until like high school, and then I stopped. So singing, and then once I hit like high school, I was always involved in every single choir possible. And even in college, and even afterwards when I moved to Denver, I directed youth choirs. And so like music and singing it's always been the one thing that I've always done. Thought of it as a career choice until recently.
Well, that's what I found quite interesting. Your talent as an actress. Can you share the experience, how you got into it, and also as well some of the fantastic experiences that you've gained from it?
Yeah, for sure. So I never really knew that I could act. Because in 6th grade, I auditioned for The Wizard of Oz, and I auditioned for the part of Dorothy, and I got the chorus. So I thought that I just wasn't a good actress. I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't act. So I never tried acting again. I didn't do musical theater or anything in high school. I just always stuck to music. Well, there was a director of a play who came to one of my shows in Denver. At the end of the show, he came up to me and he was like, have you ever acted before? And I said, absolutely not. And he's like, well, I'm directing, a local production, the regional premiere of The Color Purple here, and I think you should audition. And I was like, sure, I'm not doing that. But I thought, but a few days later, I was like, well, let me watch the movie and see, if it's something that I could relate to. And so I watched the movie, and I just remember really just getting this feeling come over me that I could be Celie. And I had no idea how that could possibly happen, but I just had this feeling like, oh my goodness, I could do this. So a good friend of mine who I actually met on American Idol, who has a degree in musical theater, sort of coached me through the audition process. I ended up getting the part and then being completely terrified because I'm like, how do I become this character? Like I had no idea of what the process was like. And if anything, I think it was the process that scared me more than, the end product. But it was a great process. I love theater. I love acting. And it's a whole new side of my creativity that I didn't even know existed. It was so cool to be able to connect to a song, not as myself, like not as SuCh, but as a character. And that's a different dimension. That's just different to connect to a song as a character. And it's definitely made me, I think, a better artist.
Well, the fantastic thing that featured from your acting experiences, that you won an award. Can you share with the listeners what award that you won?
Yeah, so if you guys are familiar with the Tony Awards, there's a Henry Awards, and it's Colorado's basically musical theater awards, and it's a pretty big deal. And it was my first time going, because it's so interesting. Like the theater community, I didn't even know that Colorado had such a vibrant theater community, but they really do. Okay. And so it was really cool to go. I remember my mom asking me, she was like, well, do you have like a speech prepared just in case you win? I was like, Mommy, no, I'm not going to win. So no, I have no speech prepared. I mean, it was really cool. It's just like the way the Tony Awards are where, there are songs from like the big nominated musicals. So I had to sing a song and it was really, really fun. It was crazy that I won. It was my first time acting ever. And it was so cool. And so I got up there and I completely babbled the whole time. It was awful. So from now on, I will just write something out at least. But I understand, like, I've always wondered, like, when you see people win a Grammy or the Oscars or the Brit Awards and they're like babbling, they're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was gonna, I totally get it now.
Well, funny enough, you did win the Best Actress and Best Acting Debut Award for that experience on The Colour Purple. Taking you slightly back, you started your music career at the Grammy High School Jazz Ensemble. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, so the Grammy High School Jazz Ensemble, and I think right now it's called Grammy Band. But at the time, my band director in high school, he had received this memo of this group that I could audition for. And so the Grammy High School Jazz Ensembles, they have 3 groups. They have the jazz choir, the jazz band, and the jazz combo. So I auditioned for the jazz choir. And back then you had to send in like a VHS. They tell you what songs they want you to learn and you send it in and they take applications and auditions from all around the US and Canada. And so I auditioned, I got in, and getting in means that you get a 10-day all expenses paid trip to LA. You perform at jazz clubs all over LA. You perform at the Grammy nominee party. You record an album, and then you get to go to the Grammys. So I made it in, and it was such an incredible experience. That's when I realized that I could actually be a musician. I was 15 at the time. And I remember being really intimidated at first because every kid there knew that they were going to be musicians. So they all went to performing arts high schools. They were so serious about their craft. Meanwhile, I just went to a regular high school and I loved singing, but I hadn't necessarily made the decision that I wanted to be, this is what I wanted to do. It's pretty cool so I made it, 2 years in a row. And one of the guys that was in the Grammy High School Jazz Ensembles with me the second year was Jesse Boykins. Pretty cool. And some of us have gone on to like star in Broadway plays, and everybody there was pretty much the real deal. And so even though it was hectic and it totally gave me a slice of what a musician's life was like, I absolutely loved it. Came back and called my older sister and I was like, listen, I want to go to performing arts high school. How do I pitch this to mommy and papi? So I came up with a whole plan. I had a PowerPoint presentation of how I was going to get to the school because the nearest performing arts school was about an hour away. And so I would have to take the train and all this stuff. And my parents sat there and they were like, oh, baby, no, you cannot do this. Not because they supported me, but I think they were like, being a musician is really hard and we want you to be able to, have a backup and you're going to have to get a degree. And I think that from that point on until 3.5 years ago, I just always viewed music as, well, that will be my hobby, that will be my release. But I always hopped from profession to profession and from job to job. And I think it was because this isn't what I was doing full time.
I definitely understand that. Moving you slightly forward now, 2012, you released your debut album. Can you give us a bit of a background about how it all came together and what sort of response that you had to the album on its release?
A lot of times when people hear that the title of my first album is Stretch Marks, they are like, ooh, why would you title your album Stretch Marks? But stretch marks are scars. And I've always been so enamored with scars because every scar tells a story. Yeah. I think we all have scars on our bodies where we can remember, oh yeah, I got that scar when I was riding my bike and I fell off and whatnot. And so I also believe that stretch marks only occur when there's been a huge amount of growth over a short period of time. And so the album marks a period in my life where I was being stretched in so many different ways and I had to grow and I had those stretching experiences. One of the biggest things was that up until January of 2012, I was a nurse. And one of the things that made me realize that I needed to take music more seriously was when the earthquake hit Haiti, and I actually went down there as a nurse to help out with the victims, and I worked in a hospital, and just seeing the loss of life and devastation made me realize that life is short. I should be doing what I've always known should be my calling. And I think that, amongst that and a few other catalysts, that's what made me realize that I needed, to do this. So I auditioned for American Idol, made it to top 63. After you perform with the band, where they eliminate a whole room, that's when I was eliminated. I think one of my biggest fears was that because I had been told no on such a big stage that maybe, it would kill my dream. It would crush my dream of being a singer. But, after I cried for a few days, I realized, there's not really anything that's going to stop me from doing this. It was on the heels of that experience that I recorded Stretch Marks fully in my basement. Took me 6 months. I'm so proud of that project because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was a huge learning curve. There's no way that I could have gotten to the album that I have now if I hadn't come out with the first one. You know what I mean? There was so much love for that album, and I've improved so much since then, but I still look back at that time and I'm like, I had to do this, and I'm just so proud of it, honestly.
You enjoyed a few releases off the album as well. As an artist, you shared some great experiences with people like Erykah Badu, Yolanda Adams, Patrice Rushen, just to name a few. How did you find the experiences of working with people who were more experienced than yourself at that time?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the general vibe that you managed to gain from working with them? All
of them were really comfortable in their skin, and they were all so very kind. I think what I got from them was just their work ethic. I don't think anything happens overnight. And I remember just feeling really humbled to be in their presence and to be, around such greatness. Those were awesome, awesome experiences, really.
What would you say was your favorite moments working with other artists?
Well, with Patrice Rushen, she was, during the Grammy High School Jazz Ensembles, she was actually the one that was over the combo. So it was like bass, guitar, drums, and piano. And being able to just see how much she loved being able to teach, that was really cool. And she was really down to earth. And that's one thing that I think that's when I realized that, a lot of times we look at celebrities and we're like, oh, they're not real people, but they are.
Yeah.
They are. And people are people. And I love the fact that she made herself so relatable. I loved that.
Moving slightly forward again, we've seen the release in 2014 of your current album, Trial and Error. Now, what brought the album together and what responses did you find towards your second album?
So Trial and Error also marks what the last 2 years of my life have been like. There's no manual necessarily on how to live life or what relationships are like or how to navigate the music business. And so I've had to be pushed out of my comfort zone. I've had to grow. I've had to try new things and fail and adjust and try again. And so I think this album is, in general, there's more energy. There's more of an excited spirit and an acceptance that it's okay to try things and to not succeed on the first time. A good friend of mine told me that the only time you fail is when you give up. And so that's why I love Trial and Error so much. And I think it applies to every area of life. I released that album in the fall of 2014, and it was met with so much love. Sugar Maple, the lead single, has been on Sirius XM, and it's been absolutely wonderful, and on Heart and Soul. And there's just been love. Like, as you know, there's also been lots of love in the UK for a track. So yeah, I just feel really, really blessed and excited.
As a performing artist, where have you enjoyed, apart from the UK recently, have you experienced other countries as a performer?
We also did France, we did Paris, and we also did Amsterdam, which was really, really fun. Past tour was my first time performing outside of the country.
For the listeners of the Kitten
Yes.
Club, what was the showcase that you was a part of? I was fortunate enough to see it 2 times in the UK. You was part of the Music Connect, who you
Yes.
was featured with, if you could share with the listeners.
For sure. So I was part of the Music Connect Soul City tour, and the places that we went were Paris, Amsterdam, Manchester, Birmingham, and London. My good friends, because all these ladies I absolutely love, the band Tristan, in which Evelyn is the lead singer, Carol Riddick from Philly, Carmen Hendricks from Australia, Marianne Ito from Hawaii. So it was wonderful. wonderful. We had so much fun. Like, absolutely love those ladies.
I must admit, looking from watching how all of you interacted with each other, there was some serious girl power going on there. You know, you really did connect. I have to say that. As a punter watching, I have to say the show was excellent. It was a really, really good showcase. What it does bring me forward to, what have you got planned for the remainder of the year?
Well, I definitely plan to do some more acting. I also do commercials and stuff, so definitely have some more auditions lined up. So acting would be wonderful. I'm working on an EP of covers, but SuCh style. So, you know, it's the way I do my covers, some songs and just my interpretation of it, with also a few originals. And of course, I'm penning new stuff for a full-length album probably sometime next year. Yeah, maybe the end of next year. So yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff is coming up.
SuCh, it leads me to that special moment. Have you decided which 2 tracks you want to present?
Yes, I have.
Right. You do know I'm going to call on the actress now, and I'm going to call on the show person. You do know that, don't you?
Yes,
right.
I know.
Okay. I'm going to give you the build-up. I'm going to present you. In the Kitten Club, in the VIP lounge, I have my brand new radio presenter who is going to introduce 2 tracks of her choice for the listeners. SuCh, can you take it away?
I sure can. Okay, so this track is called Sugar Maple. I just want you to imagine that you are on a beach and you are hearing the ocean just lap at your feet, and you are with your boo, and you have a drink of choice in your hand, and this song starts playing. So I hope you enjoy it. Sugar Maple.
From a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. This is the perfect holiday. We sit and chill on the dock of the bay. We sway to modern gay, pulling out my lingerie, gonna go all the way. And I'm grateful, this thing we have is special, like the spring showers in April. You sprinkle, sprinkle, your love on me, so playful and tasteful, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. Let you rub my feet, kiss me from cheek to cheek, make my knees go weak. Then I'll give you a quick sneak peek. I'm gonna let you rub my feet. You're gonna kiss me from cheek to cheek. You're gonna make my knees go weak. a sugar maple. Like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. Like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. Like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. Like sap from a, sap from a, sap from a vegetable. Like sap from a, sap from a, sap from a, like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple. Like sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar, sap from a sugar maple.
Okay, so this track I actually remade from my first album because I love it so much. It's a song that I wrote when my boo was getting on my nerves. And I know, you know how like when the person that you love the most is the person that knows exactly what buttons to push to get on your nerves? This is the one. But that same person also makes you the best version of yourself. So here is Under My Skin.
La 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 la. You piss me off, you drive me crazy, and you get on my nerves. No matter what I do, it's never enough for you. Makes me feel like a fool. When I'm sad, you don't pick up on the vibe. Instead, you make me mad. And when you're wrong, you always think that you're right. That's why we always fight. Sometimes I wish you were different. I wish you could change. I wish you would hold your tongue. But even if that were so, I have a feeling you know just how to get it. Under my skin. 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 You make me scream, you make me shout. You really wear me out. When you're with your boys, you give me attitude that really irritates me. You know what else I hate? When you show up late, then act like it's okay. Okay, make amends, and we're back at it again. Tell me, will it ever end? Sometimes I wish you were different. I wish you could change. I wish you would hold your tongue. But even if that were so, I have a feeling you know just how to get under my skin. Under my skin. My skin. Under 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 my skin. But you push me to the very end.